Hello and welcome to the Mr. Winter Show. I've got here with me Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing, Ryan? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm glad we're finally doing this. You've been begging me for pretty much the entirety of knowing me.
Yeah.
So we're finally doing it, and then hopefully you'll realise that it's a complete waste of time and you won't ask me again.
Well, I still hardly know you, so perfect opportunity for it, really. So let's get to know a little bit about Ryan. So what you do?
What do I do?
What do you do?
I try and tell jokes.
No, but what? How do you make money? Because
My 9 to 5.
your jokes don't make you any money, do you?
Definitely not. No.
No.
I work for a law firm.
What are they called?
Other law firms are available. I'm going to keep that one to myself.
What kind of law is it? What is the special?
It's a corporate law firm. We basically defend the bad guys.
So you're fucking rich and you didn't even tell me?
Not rich at all. No. Because I do business development, which
Right.
is the idea about the way you need to collect clients, don't you? And
Yeah.
so you can't just sort of walk into another building and say we'll be your representatives. The whole process. So I do that. I do the minutiae of that, which is very boring, very dull, and mostly I manage the feelings of people who make a lot more money than me.
Right. So getting the clients in, so just driving around Toxteth all day going...
Yeah,
"What have you done,
door-to-door
lad?"
sales. I sort of
Yeah.
say, do you need representation? Have you been treating your clients badly? We'll get you off.
Right, okay, nice.
No, it's much more similar. I do a thing called bids. I work on bids and tenders, which is sort of like a written competition that's meant to make competition sort of fair across the board.
This is why your joke writing's so good. You're doing it fucking 9 to 5.
Yeah, there is nothing I write 9 to 5 is funny. It is written, and that's why I went and did the job. I wanted to do something that had like a creative aspect to it. Soon realised the creative side of it is very, very small.
Right.
It's mostly, as I say, trying to translate a lot of technical information into something that someone who wouldn't get that would and go, oh, okay. But really it comes down to price. So I do like a tiny bit. For the audio listeners, I was holding my fingers close together.
Yeah. Yeah, just to show the size of his dick as well. So you're basically going, like, you've done, like, a murder. We'll do it, like, £5 cheaper than a competitor. Fucking come with us.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's not murder so much as it is, like, if you're a landlord or a council and you want
Really
to be
endearing
protected.
yourself to the listeners here.
Oh, yeah, I hate it. Well, I'll tell you this is how I get back at it. I am not good at my job.
Oh, so you're sabotaging them from within.
Yeah.
What's that law firm called again? They're gonna love this.
I won't give them the ads. I won't give them the ad revenue.
No.
They get enough out of me.
No, okay, fair enough then. But you do comedies. You do poetry as well as comedy, don't you?
Yes, I was a poet for a long time. I went into creative writing as my university undergrad degree because I was like, I never want to make money. And then I thought I was going to write books and then plays for a while. But then I found like I was just really good at like spoken word. So I did that for about 5 years, probably more than 5 years. There's no money in that at all. And at one point I just got to the point where I was like, I'm not developing here. I was like, I want to try something else. I was sort of falling in love with the creative aspect, but I still needed something to do rather than my job. So I was like, this is a go. I've always been a fan of comedy. I think like they were the rock stars to me. Growing up, it was a big part of my life, and thought of myself as being a funny person. So I was like, let's give it a go, and it's worked okay so far. Well, I'm still like under 15 appearances on stage, any stage that includes open mics and stuff. But it's all right. It goes well. I don't necessarily feel like I've got the best. What's the word? Attitude towards it. I'm still very much like everything needs to be perfect straight away.
Right. Okay.
And I'm realising that is not the way in comedy. So that's where you don't see me very often. Is because I'm like home labouring over these fucking 5 minutes worth of what I hope is going to be gold, but often silver, bronze,
Right.
copper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair to you, you've gone from realising this doesn't make money, this doesn't make money. Let's go to a law firm. Let's really fucking make the money. And then you've gone straight into comedy, which is where all the money is apparently. I mean,
There's money to be made in comedy. That's the thing. Someone is making money. There's people.
Not us.
Not us, but
No.
like bookers are making money.
Yeah.
Whereas in poetry, even the people who are putting on the events are broke.
Yeah, you have to be there for like 100 years to make money in poetry, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't like, you can, there's publishing and people can sort of support your art. Essentially, I was thinking about this sort of today actually. both comedy and poetry, really patronised by middle class people. You know, they're the people who support the art. I know. Well, they're disappearing, so they don't have any money anymore, so they can't come to your show. They can't buy your poetry book. They can't do anything.
Yeah.
So really, the society we live in has crushed any creative outlets, or the idea of making it, you know, as a small time sort of creator.
And really, the idea that the middle classes would come to a theatre to see us tell jokes about Nazis and doing horrible racist shit is a bit ridiculous as well. They want something civilised. They want a nice trans person to say something subversive about Tories or reform.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of that there, and that definitely does sell. And being not trans and pro-reform, that's not true.
As you are.
I don't really get that audience. But I also think a lot of middle-class people like to see sort of subversive and dark stuff told by working-class people in dingy little cafes because it makes them feel better about their guilt for having money.
There's a bit of that. There's a bit of that as well. I've had this conversation a few times where some people think class is money, and I don't think class is money. I think if you're working class, you're born working class, and you stay that forever, even if you make money. Like if you're born into a working class family, you start like a plumbing business and you're fucking minted, and you've got like tons of drivers, tons of people working for you. You're still working class. I think you don't become middle class.
That's
like
interesting.
That. But I don't think everyone agrees. What do you think about that? Do you think you can be?
I think, well, we should say that class is different in this country to other places, but I think it's like a two-track approach. I think it is definitely the way in which you sort of like make your money and sort of your bracket, your income bracket, but also, yeah, there's a lot of culture to it. There's a lot of people who sort of, I would class as middle class, who hold themselves as being very working class and holding those values. I also think it's very sexy and popular now to say you're working class, even when you're clearly not.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Because no one really, I think at one point, maybe when we were like, when I was young, I was born in 1992. So until the turn of the millennium, I think maybe it was a thing where like you wanted to be middle class growing up. Now, middle class people are Tories, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you want to say, oh no, not me. Don't
Now
lump me in with him. I'm one of the good ones.
Yeah. Now you want to be working class, but you still want to have the money of middle class.
Oh yeah, because no one wants to be working class.
Yeah.
Working class people don't want to be working class.
Yeah. You want to go into M&S, but with an Aldi bag. That's what it is. It's working class face is what it is. It's working class up your face. You know, getting a bit of Coke on the sides of the nose, just a little bit to be respectable.
See, I think Coke is a very middle class drug.
Is it?
For me, it feels like that. I think a lot of working class people try it, but I think they're like,
oh, they don't have the money for it.
It's an aspirational sort of
yeah,
thing.
they don't have the money for it.
And this is an interesting thing to my supermarket. I make a point every time I go to supermarket because I'm very I try and be very eco conscious, so I always bring a bag.
Of course, you fucking do.
But I make a point to bring a different bag to the supermarket which I go to sort of say like, you haven't got my loyalty.
Yeah, you can't.
I want those people to know like I also go to Sainsbury's.
Yeah, you can't wear like the shirt of the band you're going to see, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, yeah, it's just like, you know, I'm not a Asda
Ultra
till I die.
Yeah, fucking hell. Well, we're fucking funny, aren't we? Jesus.
You're asking me about my life and my shopping habits.
I was saying about me. I'm fucking doing.
You're funny.
Oh fuck me, I'm not. Yeah, poetry is fucking good, isn't it? Give us a poem.
No, you'll have to come pay for that.
Right, how much does it cost? How much for a poem?
How much per poem? £5. If you give me a £5 right now, I'll give you 8 bars.
8 bars? What, are you going to do a cappella or like on beat?
How good's your computer there? You got Fruity Loops?
I don't have anything, to be honest.
No.
To be honest, if you want a beat, I'm going to have to try and find an old magazine and try and dial a number and spend £2 on a debit card.
Because we're friends, I'll give you like a little, what's it called?
Here we go.
Preview.
A poem by Ryan. What's it called?
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know what I called this one. Most of them don't have names.
Do you not?
No, because they're all performance anyway, so there's no one ever sees the title in it. It's just what I.
But how do you like organise them and know what one's which?
They're all in separate pieces of paper. Well, they're like different documents. I know what they are. I know what they're about, but I don't necessarily get around to naming them. Some of them do, but like they're all in my head, so it doesn't really matter.
That's so weird because I name all my comedy sets. I go like Jew Hatred 1, Jew Hatred 2.
That's not true. Yours just says like first one, second one,
Rape
third
1, Rape 2.
Right, sure. You've got two whole rape sets. Sets about rape.
2 whole rapes and jokes as well, yes.
Okay, is that on stage? It's very sort of Andy Kaufman-esque.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I've not seen you perform that at the open mics.
It's method.
Yeah, you seem quite method.
So, we've got Poem Untitled by Ryan.
Sure. You don't count me in.
Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You ever get the feeling you've been cheated, like we did? 2010 sold the dream and we believed it. Then those lizards sold this country to each other, seen them bleed it dry. I tried to keep my cool, but I could feel the planet heating up. A decade and a half saw my future slip from under me. Wasting better days chasing wage at some company. And every year a little harder just to do it comfortably. I do what they tell me to and I put up with it. But lately I've been wondering, the line is only going up. But libraries keep shutting down, so really what the fuck is going on if a nurse can't afford to get sick? And a whole generation can't afford to have kids. All this no one wants to work when the work don't pay shit. You can't make it make sense. I ran out of patience. It is fucked up. You all must be corrupt, just admit it. Cost of living is really just the cost of doing business. We get sicker by the day while they get richer every minute. It's no secret how it happened. All those barons went and rigged it. There's more than that, but...
And if you don't know, now you know.
Don't say that word.
So, okay. Ryan can't say that word either. If you can't tell by his voice, he's not.
I'm white as fuck, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I picked up on there is, like, you can't have kids, but you fucking wants to. Like, even if I was rich, I'd be like, no, I wanna enjoy my money.
I like what you got in there, like, I don't want kids.
I also don't want to say...
So I don't agree with any of this poem.
I also don't want to say fuck the kids, because there's enough comedians like that.
Sure, yeah. We know them. Yeah, well, you might not want to have kids, but I feel like the societal move away from kids is more of an idea of, like, actually it's not affordable.
That is
and
true.
I think generationally we'd shift. I think if everyone felt like they were going to get a better life, we'd be more happy to have kids. I don't think people are just like, I'm selfish. I think it's more like, I can't feed myself.
Yeah.
And then you add another child to that. I don't think that's, like, fair. I think it's a very ethical thing people are doing now is to not have kids. When all the generation above us are old and they need people to look after them. Tough fucking shit, bro.
You're going to have to rely on the AIs to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, see if ChatGPT will change your bedpan.
Yeah. That'll be fun. So, would you have kids then? Do you want to be like dad?
I do want to be a dad. I would like a child.
Any child?
Any child. I prefer a son, I think. That'll get me cancelled.
I mean, everyone would prefer a son. Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone you know.
Yeah.
Well, in my head, I've just always thought about a little boy.
It is better to have a son than an abortion, so, I think that just comes naturally.
Those are the two options.
Yeah.
We're going off the sort of People's Republic of China model here.
Yeah, yeah.
Either you, if you have a son, or you take a long trip to a cliff.
Yeah, it's a son or a toilet baby. Just one or the other. And
if you're lucky enough to have a toilet.
Yeah. Some people have a hole in the ground.
But no, I don't want one because I'm like, I want my name to carry on. Fuck my name. I don't have any affinity towards that kind of stuff. But I just, in my head, I've always just thought about this little lad walking downtown in a Tom's the Tank Engine jumper, walking around like an absolute bad man. Right. I don't know why, I've got this like little vision. But I feel like, and again, this is not funny at all, probably not going to happen.
What do you mean probably not going to happen? Why not?
Just circumstance, the society we live in, One, I'm long-term single. Like, that's my own personal stuff. I find it very hard to sort of meet people and romantic affiliations.
Not the spoken word poetry nights. Not a lovely woman with blue hair and a fanny dreadlocks in her fucking ass hair that goes from her back up to her fucking head.
They exist. I'm not saying they're not at those poetry nights, but they're not really interested in me.
Are they not?
No. Would you believe, a lot of them, lesbians.
Lesbians?
I know, I was shocked.
I don't think they exist. I'm not sure about that.
Really?
Yeah.
I could take you places, mate.
Right.
I'd show you some lesbians.
Oh, I'd rather not, to be honest.
No.
So...
But you're a gay.
Am I?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's just the character I do.
Right, well, the character's gay.
Yeah.
So the character frequents many gay bars.
Well, just to make sure that it's a proper lived experience, yeah.
Yeah. And you see some women there.
I wouldn't class them as women.
Okay, what would you class them as?
I don't know, late term abortions. They're quite as
Doing
people,
well. They're going strong.
As people, they are. I don't know, somewhere below dogs. You know.
Okay. I just want to make clear this is not my viewpoint. I respect women.
I am a woman.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know. I mean, I'm so sorry I've been calling you a guy for so long.
You have.
When did you have this discovery?
I don't know, in the last 20 seconds?
Well, that's valid.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're not going to get me on this whole...
What is a woman?
I'm woke to a fault. Oh, yeah, what is a woman? This is the thing, right? Coming from poetry, you meet a lot of people who are very woke people. I'm not saying like leftists. I mean like woke. I mean people who are sort of super into the identity politics and side of it, and safe spaces and all that. And it's not something I really have a lot of. Like I don't care for like what people say around me. I love offensive jokes. I love your stuff.
I don't do offensive jokes though.
No. I just mean because you're gay. So the character's gay, and I don't hate you instantly for it.
I thought you were just going to say, sorry, a faggot. Just really lean into it.
Yeah. If I was a better comedian, maybe I would have done that. But I try and be really respectful, and I think that is one of the nice things about coming into comedy is you do feel a lot of people with like less. Well, I say this, it's just a lot of white men, and you can say what you like in front of white men because they don't give a fuck, bro. Like we're on top right now. So it's nice to have that sort of thing where you don't have to really watch what you say too much because everyone sort of is aware that things are jokes and stuff. Yeah. And although I will say this, I've probably been the most offended comic at a lot of these open mics. Just hearing certain things that get done and brushed away, I really cringe.
Right.
And I don't know how to deal with it yet. But I suppose that's just part of the culture, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, before I started doing the comedy, I was listening to a lot more American stuff. Mm-hmm. So that kind of tolerance for what can be said is a lot broader than what it is in the UK. I felt like the stuff I was doing was actually quite tame, and then the audience and doing it in front of is like, oh, that's naughty, that's shocking, and it's not really. It's a joke, It's not meant to start a war. I'm not trying to capture the president of Venezuela and put him in autistic little headphones and drag him back.
There's more serious things going on that people should be offended about.
Exactly.
And I think, there's a nice sort of, unwritten contract that when you go into a comedy room, things aren't all serious. In fact, you shouldn't take things seriously and you should be up for, like, hearing things that you're not necessarily, like, that you don't believe or agree with. You can maybe sort of, like, forgive yourself for laughing at those things. Yeah. Not that I do think there's a line. I don't think it's like anything on that stage is sacrosanct. I don't think you can just get away and say, oh no, it's comedy.
Yeah.
But in general, there should be sort of leeway that maybe this guy is being a bit ironic in how they are presenting themselves.
But also, I mean, there was something that happened recently at, of all things, a Gong Show, where someone did a joke that referred to trans celebrities making a pun on the name, and a trans person in the audience went to that comedian after this show in the break and said, that was too much for me, that was offensive, and the comedian disclosed to me that he feels like he shouldn't do the joke anymore. And this is a pun based on the person's name. Nothing hateful, nothing harmful, it's just a pun. I think there are some groups that are just going to have to stop being so offended, because if you stop being so offended and you get in on the joke and you do it as well, it's fantastic. It makes everyone else more comfortable. It makes you part of the group, and it'll bring people in more instead of being like divided. Like there's an act on Kiltony, a very visibly not a born woman.
You really turned yourself in. Not trying to say that.
Yeah, I'm struggling to be honest.
A trans woman.
I'm struggling.
It's super easy.
I'm struggling not to describe her by the smell.
Wow. Through the screen as well. Yeah. I know you're not getting tickets to Kiltony.
No.
But you're like, something in that.
Oh god, yeah, I just stuffed a hole my nose and a bunch of
Something medical in that.
Well, anyway,
Smells of
so
wars.
I'm watching this trans person holding my nose. I'm watching a Kill Tony set. This is so funny because she, that person, has addressed the fact that they're trans, made it funny, made herself the joke, brought everyone in with it as well, and by the end of it, Kill Tony, which has this reputation of being horribly offensive, saying slurs and this and that, they're all cheering this person who is trans on stage, doing great material, making themselves the joke, bringing everyone in. Because that's what it's supposed to be. The fact that you can't do a pun on stage in England at a gong show is ridiculous. You need to just take a look at yourself and maybe not go to comedy if you're gonna be offended.
Yeah, sure. I think there's a good saying about you shouldn't bring your most sensitive self to a comedy night.
Yeah.
But also, I feel that what that woman did by waiting till the end and sort of just having the word was quite nice. And it's down to the comic then to work out if they feel, or maybe it was offensive, maybe they did cross a line, maybe I'm not comfortable owning that. I think ultimately you can say offensive things if you feel in your heart that like it's worth it and it's funnier than it is offensive. And yeah, and I think, but also I know a lot of the problem with I think jokes about trans people is that
They're not what they used to be.
Very good. That's pretty good. That's very.
That's not original either.
That's the best thing you've ever said.
That's not original. I'm
Of course it isn't. No, but I think from a white cis straight person's perspective,
So you're both
what's funny about being trans is not what I think the trans community think is funny, and a lot of it is sort of like othering and sort of belittling. And it's all right, I think, sometimes if you say, oh, there was a trans person who made a joke about themselves and everyone went away with it. And you can do that, but at the same time, is that not contributing to an idea of, oh, it's okay when they're on stage? Like, I know a lot of people think, like, it's this is a sort of maybe a bit of a wild twist, but in Japan, very homophobic sort of place, very traditional. A lot of drag, a lot of people dressing up as women, and that is sort of they equate that to gay. It's still. This might be wildly
Gayzilla.
This might be one. Offended so many people at the same time. This might not be. I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm so warm, and it's nothing to do with the fact that we're in a windowless basement. It's
just the heat coming off the nuclear eruption of that accent.
I don't want to touch any of this. But in Japan, I was told they may have progressed since I've learnt this fact. But that's very acceptable. An idea of like dressing up as a woman is very acceptable, and that's
not to
that's
be trans,
okay.
but to mock gay people.
Sort of, yeah. To be a clown version,
Yeah.
And you have to be very aware of like what you're doing on that, because you want to sort of be real still, and I think you still want to give people their dignity. And maybe that's the point. Maybe you should feel like if you do offend someone, but you feel that like that's not a joke about trans people, that's a joke about a trans person or moment, and it's a human version. I think you can get away with that, and I think most audiences will give you that. But I also think, I think a lot of people can just go, "Oh, this joke's about me." What's that? I'm in this picture and I don't like it. They see themselves and suddenly they're like, "Oh, I don't like being part of a joke." And I'm fair enough. I don't like being mocked. I don't like the idea of that. I wouldn't like the idea that I'm the butt of a joke, especially if it's like something I don't feel particularly confident about. So it's difficult, and it's definitely a lot for me. I do try and stay away from dark stuff. I haven't really talked about anything, or written any jokes that I think are dark.
Yeah.
You clearly have no qualms about that. But also, I'm slightly jealous in that sort of the character.
Yeah.
Is a gay, biracial.
But, I mean, I'm biracial as well. I can't change.
Well, yeah, but I don't. Well, if you can change your sexuality, you might make. You might just be Lebanese.
You say biracial. I want to be clear. I don't take shoe polish to shows. I'm not doing that. Fucking hell. Let's just be clear on that.
Maybe you should. Maybe that's how. Although to be fair, we do things in like very dark rooms. You're all wearing black anyway. We won't see you.
No. There was a joke in there about a ninja, but I'm not gonna reach that far.
No, you've done enough to Japan.
I've done enough to minorities and vulnerable people in the world.
Yeah,
there
I hope
was
you're happy with yourself.
yeah, I am. I'm really enjoying myself. There was at that same gong. Oh no, I think it was a different gong show. There was a performer on stage who was trans and doing jokes about them being trans. Doing the jokes on stage, it's not going great. They get gonged off, not very funny, and I see the compere not do any jokes, and I immediately had in my head, they say women aren't funny. Fucking hell. What a fucking proof that is. And I didn't say it, but I was like, oh, that may be on the line. Is it too far? But
There's I saw a post recently looking at like Ricky Gervais and his history of transphobic
right.
jokes. And some of them I do agree with. I've looked back and I was like, okay, that is quite dark. But he does a great joke about Caitlyn Jenner and her transformation. And I can't do the joke perfectly, but it's just like, I think Caitlyn's done a lot for the trans community. She's really proud of that, sort of normalising this. Hasn't done a lot for women drivers, though.
No.
And I thought, of all the jokes that he's done, I thought that was pretty good. And I think that's good, because I think that's about a person, isn't it? It's not about trans people as like one...
That's about a murderer.
It's about, ultimately, it's about a rich person who killed a person in the car and got away with it.
And everyone forgot about it.
Well, my tinfoil hat sort of says that, like, it was very convenient news for her to break.
Yeah.
But, oh, actually, I am a woman. It was like when Kevin Spacey got accused of being a molester.
Yeah.
And he says, pretty much, I didn't do it, and if I did do it, I'm gay!
Yeah.
And then I was like, so brave. So brave.
Yeah, that is great. I fucking love that. There's been a lot about Gervais and people saying like they don't like him or he's mean or he's doing too much trans stuff, and same for Chappelle as well. And I just think, part of me thinks, yeah, the material has kind of been done to death now. I think it's been mined so much, it's kind of all gone. All the jokes have been made. If like you knew trying to do something, it's probably been done better by someone who's much bigger than you. But also, the fact that there are like these offence takers and people going to shows and trying to stifle what you can and can't say makes me think, actually, you should be saying it more just to fucking break you down and say, alright, I give up, I'll just take a joke. I'll just not be so sensitive. Because there are people who just want to take offence. I mean, I still see people do material about J.K. Rowling, and I also think is like, what has she actually done? What she said something that a lot of people think, but she's rich and she used to be your favourite author and now you hate her. But you're so vitriolic about her, like she's not even saying anything like particularly bad. There's so much hate out there for people who say things a lot of people are thinking.
Interesting. I think there's a few things to that, and I'll try and like address them in turn. One, I think there is a point that when you are wealthy, even if you feel like you're just coming at it from like a normal person's point of view, you're always going to be a bit punching down. And I think that's the what people see is like, oh, rich comedian, rich author taking pot shots at a community. Even if that is not meant to be like, I hate these people and they should stop existing. The viewpoint, there's a power imbalance there. And I think people like Ricky Gervais and maybe like Dave Chappelle are just sort of, they sometimes forget about their privilege and just having made it. J.K. Rowling, I will say this, initially her sort of initial statement, when I read it on the face of it, I didn't agree with it, but I didn't think it was too wrong. I just thought it was like someone who, has maybe thought about the situation, not enough, from her own perspective, said something she believes, and then the world went crazy on it. I think since then she's very much doubled down, and I will say that she has been a bit reprehensible, and she has aligned herself with some not very nice people. And at this point I feel like it's okay to say like she's a transphobe and a TERF and a bit of a piece of shit. But is that because everyone jumped down her throat and the only people she could find who weren't horrible to her were these people on the right? And do we have a part to play when we react straight away, polarising people and pushing people further and further to viewpoints because we are just not very tolerant on the left of opposing viewpoints? It's not very funny, but it's like, I think that's where we're at, But then also I think, is it our problem? Like, do we have to sort of like watch how we treat people? Maybe at this point, life's so fucked that if you react vitriolically to vitriol. This is where we're at, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't start the fire.
Stop the cycle of violence.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, rich people do it first.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, she also wasn't rich first as well. She was like...
No, but she was rich when she said what she said.
Yeah. There's again the thing. She was rich, but she wasn't like middle class, was she? She was working class with a bit of fucking money. She was like Tracy going into the Ivy with a fucking big hoop earrings on and a fucking slippers and a pyjamas and rollers in her hair going, alright, what's fucking this then? Let's have a fucking bit of steak, love.
Yeah, I'm sure she still views herself as like Scottish Joe.
Yeah.
From who was on the dole and wrote some things, but
yeah.
You know, she's definitely, she has the luxury of being able afford a lot of time to think, you know, which a lot of people don't. And I think she could have thought maybe once or twice before she said what she said. And I did see someone, I can't remember who they are, a trans person. They sat down and made I thought a very thoughtful, measured response to what she said. For me, that was it. I was into like, yeah, I think you are, you know, she is misguided about these things, and the dangers that she thinks are there aren't really there, and she could take that. But like that, it was too late then, wasn't it? And that's more that the internet had their way with it, and suddenly she was like persona non grata. I will also take your point that I do think there is a type of people who try and farm outrage, and like they'll go to a show with the intention of clipping things and taking things out of context and trying to make their viewpoint because they, I guess, want brownie points.
Yeah.
This is my ultimate problem with the left, is that we are too focused on like this purity test thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, everyone to the right of me is a fascist and everyone to the left of me doesn't exist because I'm the most left you can
be. And if someone agrees with me 100%, apart from this one small thing, they're out. You're evil. You're gone.
Yeah, and I think we'd rather sort of be right and lose than concede a few things and get shit done. That's why capitalists are allowed to run rampant, is because like we are too focused on this, like we all have to be completely agreed straight away, otherwise we can't move forward. The problem with progressive ideas is that there's lots of different ways to progress, you know. Whereas if you're conservative, all you want things to do is stay the same or go back, and that's very easy to agree on. So a lot of people, but the right is much more happy to take imperfect allies, let's say, because, you know, ultimately they all want the same thing.
It's true.
Whereas like the left generally want progress, but we all have very different ideas about what that progress looks like.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you can talk about like with your party, right? Like, you know, it was initially a alliance of convenience, and then they realised quite quickly that, oh, maybe people who have pro-Gaza standpoints culturally might not have trans lives in their like idea of a perfect Britain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, actually, can we make this work? And I think ultimately, no, we can't, because we've seen it, haven't we?
No, that's true. But your party, they all hate the Jews, so you know, fucking all hand in hand, fucking loving it. But,
yeah, that is the one unifying
yeah.
thought. They voted that in. That was like the charter. That was the first vote, wasn't it?
Yeah, pro-cousin marriage, anti-Jew. That's what it is. That's what it is.
I can get behind that.
Can you? Can you get behind on your cousins? Like any fit?
Well, if we pass some laws.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. All my cousins are ugly.
Oh, well, that's alright then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Safe.
Yeah, few. And I mean, progressive, maybe putting the president of Venezuela in autistic fucking headphones and shipping him off to America, that's progressive in a way.
In what way?
Things are moving, things are changing.
Things are changing. Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah, you got to say that about President Trump. He's, he doesn't sit on his arse, does he?
No, he's doing some exceptional things.
For all the golf he plays, and we were going about, oh, you know, when it matters, he'll pull out the big guns.
He'll fucking smash through Canada, fucking buy Greenland, destroy Venezuela, threaten everyone. Fucking give us your peace prize, you fucking bitch. Give me it.
He's gonna essentially. I think that's his plan, right? If I take over enough countries, they'll have to say I've solved the problem.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. And I love how upset it makes people, because you're just fucking wrong. He's absolutely decimated a horrible dictator in Venezuela, and the Venezuelans are like, fucking get in, and just these sad fucking liberals going, no, I liked him, what about the communism? Ah, fuck off. He's fucking smashed him in his fucking head and took this bitch's Peace Prize and she done nothing. I'm like, that's fucking mine, bitch, give me it. I love it. It's fantastic. And I can see how uncomfortable you are right now, and I fucking love that as well.
No, I'm just waiting to talk, because you're going on, you had a little character for yourself. I was enjoying the ad-lib. No, I didn't know who the fuck Maduro was until he got captured. I had no idea. This is how bad I was. He's like, when I first heard about it, I was like, Trump's invaded Argentina. They're not the same place. Look, we didn't give it, like, you know what I mean? Everyone can sort of, oh yeah, he was a terrible dictator. But we didn't fucking know. He wasn't, like, on the world stage in the same way as he was. So I think that sort of, you know, he did a good thing in that. And yes, you know, I agree that he's a terrible person, Maduro. But I don't necessarily think that means that you can justify invading a sovereign territory. And, you know, it should be for the people of Venezuela, or every country, to get rid of their own despots. And I don't think you can sort of might is right this just because this one time he happened to get a bad guy. It's difficult, and you know, and I don't know how the people of Venezuela actually feel about the sort of, you know, is the US a liberator to them? I certainly don't think they'll continue to think Trump's doing really well once he moves in all his oil execs and sucks that country dry. I feel like they'll then go, swings it roundabout, you know what I mean? At least Maduro was putting money back into our pockets.
I don't think he was. That was the
the pockets of Venezuelan oil execs.
Yeah, and even then, he just like destroyed the businesses and said, even the execs don't get it. It's just my family and my boys, and that's it.
I'll fully hold my hands up. I have no idea about the situation. But I didn't need to, you know. That's the main point. It's like no one gave a fuck before it happened about Venezuela at any level. Some people pretended they did. They don't. No one cares. It's sort of, you know, no one really. I say no one. Some people really did care about the plight of the Palestinian people prior to what happened. But as a world phenomenon, we were all happy to sort of like close our eyes to that and get along with our things until very recently, and it's been forced into the situation. Yeah. And now suddenly we feel very strongly about it, and I'm glad that we do. But society is such that you can't really care about all the fucking terrors of the world because you just don't have the time of day, do you?
That's why you need like one big one that's big that week, and then you move on.
Sure.
Like, Ukraine was a while ago, Gaza was a while ago, Venezuela's like hot now, but it's like dimming a little bit. Iran is coming up, but like they're not that into Iran because it's like there's no Jews to hate there, so they're kind of not as fussed as...
Yeah, and also
Gaza's going to come back round.
They did the Middle East already, you know what I mean? It's sort of like, it's not a great territory anymore.
You need a bit more time. Yeah, we've done Latin America, Middle East was before that, Eastern Europe was before that. We're going to have to do something else, like where's good?
Where's good?
Western Europe, like... Can Trump bomb fucking France or something? Fucking sort that.
I mean, I'll tell you what, he'd have my vote.
Yeah.
He'd have my vote. I'll, as I say, very woke, but fuck the French. Fuck the French in their little tiny arses.
Well, I think it's a bit rude of you to say that about a Muslim country, but anyway, moving on. So, you mentioned earlier about Japan being like a bit weird with gay shit, and that was like on my mind a bit as well. There's...
You've been thinking about that?
No, well, just for the gay character I do, I've been doing some research, and on Netflix...
Like gays around the world?
Yeah, gays around the world.
You're really taking this on tour, aren't you?
Yeah. And doing some research, and on Netflix there's a show called The Boyfriend, and it's basically like 12 Japanese, kind of like Love Island, but in Japan.
Okay.
And the situation is there's no voting off or anything like that. They basically just have a couple of weeks to spend together in this house, and they've also run like a coffee shop as well because the Japanese just can't stop working. Sure. Even when they're doing like a love kind of island kind of thing, they can't stop.
They need a gimmick, don't they?
They need to have a job, otherwise they don't feel like...
Is it a cat cafe?
It's not a cat cafe.
That would be perfect. I think that would make it...
That would have been fantastic, but it's not. Also, the horrible thing about it is it's absolutely removed completely from sexuality. They're just like timid little fucking virgins, all of them, and it's it's really frustrating when you're trying to do research for a gay character. I tell you, it's really bad.
You're screaming at Netflix, have sex! Have sex!
Fucking do it, Yasuke, you fucking fucking, come on! There's not even the hint
You
of
watch this like people watch football.
Yeah.
Do it! Get it in!
Back of the net, Yasuke, come on. Fucking hell, I was trying to watch. You know, like when
Or like
you...
back at the throat.
You know, like when you're watching like a porn video and there's like in the bottom right hand corner there's fucking Vegeta getting pounded by Goku. I thought it was going to be that. There's none of it. It's absolutely. There's not even.
What porn are you watching?
Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
It's like picture in picture.
Let's
You mean
move on.
like ads? You mean like anime porn ads?
No, it's back in the day.
Back in the day, porn's
go-
around now.
You'd go on the hub and sometimes.
Do you remember this?
Have you seen this? Have you heard about
This
this?
is nostalgic. Back before they banned porn.
Yeah, before you had to get your passport out to wank off, they would have adverts on the porn sites that would be just like, sometimes just like The Simpsons, just fucking Bart smashing fucking Marge out of it, just fucking insane.
Sure, yeah.
But they also had that for like anime sometimes with like Vegeta just getting fucking his legs thrown around his shoulders and fucking Kamehameha up his fucking ass. So there's none of that on this show though. It's just not even a hint of pixelization. It's just straight, like, don't even kiss. It's like the end of the last season. I've watched 2 seasons. I'm very deep in the research on this.
Sure.
The end of the last season had a kiss in it, and that was it. That was as
And you
far as it
came
went.
instantly.
And instantly, it was like just so.
You were so hard that you were like rubbing it, waiting for it.
This is not what.
I can actually still see the stain on your ceiling.
It's over
Now I'm
there.
looking at it.
It's
Yeah,
over
yeah.
with it with the black
Ooh.
moulders.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Was that all you?
It was all me, yeah.
Nice.
Straight into the event as well, so everyone else can fucking enjoy it. Um,
That's socialism for you.
yeah, that's what it is. It's really frustrating having like that kind of view of things where Japan is so repressed on the gays that they just can't even be real gays. They're like timid, fucking castrated gays where they can't even do anything. Like, oh, I'm not going to do the accent. I'm going to stop that immediately.
So you found a line. That's nice.
I've found a line.
Well, I will say this is not just gay. The gay side of Japan, because have you ever? There's a show, quite a few seasons now, of a show called Terrace House, which is similar. I think it's sort of like a Big Brother / sort of Jersey Shore, but in Japan. So completely not any of that stuff.
Right.
And it's three men, 3 women who don't know each other. They all sort of move in, and they'll sort of periodically move in different people. But it's always like a 6 cast, and the idea is like it's about them finding love. And even that, it's all just sort of like subtle glances and holding hands, and sort of like there's one bit where I think it's season 1 episode 2. One guy was like in Japanese, but it was translated. He was like, no.
Do it.
He was like, I think we should all push each other. I think we should all push each other to do our hardest, because they all have jobs,
Yeah.
and that was a big part of the show. Is that they
Yeah.
have to go and live their actual life.
They can't stop fucking working.
No, that's why they don't fuck. Is because they haven't got the time. They're knackered. But they were like, we need to push each other to do our best and really achieve it. Well, we're here. This is an opportunity. And I think we should all go around and say what we want to do with our lives. Sort of one girl spoke up and she was like, well, I'm just sort of happy going along and seeing what's happened. And the guy was like, no, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. You should pick a goal and put with it. And then she cried, and that's when I came.
Right.
But like, my greater point is that whole show, those relationships were the most sexless, sort of two Barbie and Ken to sort of smack against each other. Like,
That's kind of where we're going as a society as well. I mean, we were in this coffee shop earlier, like an Apple shop. You didn't interact with them. It was just like you order on a screen and ask you on the screen to tip them when you've not even spoken to them. It's also a Japanese import of like a chain that they've got, and that's kind of where we're going. Less social interaction, less sexual intimacy. That's like we've got naked attraction here, and that's not going to survive. I don't think. I think the new generations are becoming more isolated on the phones, on social media, and less willing to go out to like a club, pubs, be kind of forward and promiscuous. So that's where we're going. That's where.
yeah, I feel like we are. I mean, I feel really bad for the generation who grew up during COVID.
Yeah.
Because like 2 years off of like any real social interaction, he's going to mess with people. Like it's. But even before that, I think we were going away from this. Like everyone's on their screens. But it makes sort of sense if you sort of teach each other that like everyone else is like a predator. You know what I mean? And I think men, their great, or like young lads, their greatest fear is sort of being accused of like sexual assault, and then women, their greatest fear is being sexually assaulted. They've really come into sort of like their romantic dating period of life feeling like I can't trust any of these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And yeah, in that way, that's not necessarily the screen's fault, is it? I think that's just the way we've done a lot to sort of separate ourselves and teach young people that a stranger is a threat. Whereas, and don't be wrong, that's not a good lesson, I think, in general, but I think we've potentially taken it so far now that we're just not really willing to engage in conversations with each other. And, you know, one of the things about the internet, right, the internet was meant to bring the world together. It was meant to sort of be a place where you could learn about anything you wanted, you could get involved in anything you wanted. But what happened was, people, like weirdos in their own little
Pedophiles.
world. Pedophiles is one of those group of weirdos, but just regular weirdos.
Yeah.
Just started meeting other weirdos. And so they created like safe spaces, which makes sense. But now we don't move outside of those spaces because why bother, you know? I know what I'm like within this group. I don't want to sort of risk that and be like, oh, I have to do a modified version of myself. And that's great, but you can't fuck your phone yet. Eventually. I think that'll be an attachment, wouldn't it?
Yeah, an attachment.
Well, I mean, you could try going in the charger port, but I don't think that's going to work out really well.
It's going to be a fucking nightmare when you're stuck with your iPhone and you're trying to see if anyone's got a charger for your fuck device. I'm like, nah, I'm all on Android here, mate. You're going to have to look somewhere else.
Can I borrow your charger? No.
you
what you do to me.
You buy a dodgy one off team, we're going to fucking explodes with your cock in it.
Oh, that's the title of this show.
Yeah, that's material.
Explodes with your cock in it.
That's going in the next set.
Oh. Gross.
Good, yeah. What's your favourite accent to do?
Just in my own time.
Yeah.
I think I like doing American accents in general. But my problem is, I mean, and your you will pick up that my accent is quite a strong Brummie accent. So anything I try and do, there's like a 50% of it is just my own accent. It's so strong.
Do you think it's wrong to do accents?
Ooh, interesting. There's a rule in cultural appropriation.
Right.
I say a rule. It's just something I've heard. I don't know why I'm making it so arbitrary. If you are the person doing the accent is doing the accent of a person who they've never like colonized, it's fine. Like a British person can do a German accent.
Right.
And it not be a big deal. But if you're sort of doing like Indian, it gets a bit iffy. That's one side of it. But I think it's basically how good of an accent can you do. Because I think if you can do a really good, crisp, no one can tell the difference version, I think then you can get away with it.
Because, I mean, the trans people are doing the accents of the other sex, and it seems a bit on, you know...
They're not putting that on.
No, well, they are.
So they're going... No, that's part of the... Maybe I'm wrong on this.
It's appropriation.
But I'm fairly certain that, like, that's part of... They take pills and stuff for that. And it's like, then the testosterone will heighten your voice naturally. They're not just, like, doing an impression of a lady.
Well, some of them are. Some of them are going, "Hi, I'm Tina." And like the trans voice is a real thing, yeah. So
I think... I'll add another one then. I think if you do it all the time...
Yeah.
Then that's just your voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think if you're a white guy and you just start talking Jamaican, it's quite offensive. But if you exclusively talk Jamaican for the rest of your life, at some point everyone's like, well, that's just the way you fucking talk.
Yeah.
So if you transition, and part of that is like, I'm going to start talking the way I think a woman would talk.
Into a Jamaican woman.
A Jamaican woman would talk.
Yeah. But
then you do that, then have at it. Like, yeah, ask Queen that.
Bumba clap, my dick's cut off.
But I think if you drop it, if you're sort of like... It took me a while. It's like a... It hit me in the back of my head then.
Yeah.
Sort of like a boomerang. But I think if you drop it, if you're like, you're right, lads. I think then you're like, oh no, that's offensive. I think that's where you drop it. I think you have to commit to the bit. And maybe that's a good point. We're back to offensive comedy. As long as you commit to the bit, you're okay.
But waiting 2 years from a rasclad surgery to cut my dick off.
By the way, not too long ago, you said I'm not going to do the Japanese accent because I don't want to offend anyone. I mean, have you ever interacted with a Jamaican person in your life? Or are you just doing Hermes from Futurama?
Pass the pussy on the left-hand side.
That's a banger. I want that remixed. I want to hear that. You know, you do, because you do musical comedy, so maybe
don't you fucking dare accuse me of doing musical comedy.
You do musical comedy.
I have never done musical comedy.
You've done...
Don't you fucking
I have seen you do both a YMCA parody and a rap battle.
Oh.
So pass the pussy on the left-hand side is not out of your wheelhouse. And in fact, I think it might be gold.
I think Ryan, there's a line. Come on, fucking hell, mate, you fucking crossed
the line is a dot to you.
Oh God, no! Don't you dare accuse me of doing musical comedy. No, I never would.
Never.
No, I dispute that allegation.
Okay, what would you call it?
I don't know, just like...
You think music just happens to be playing?
Experimental faggotry, really. That's what I'd call it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good way to, like, just change. Yeah. For all your problems with the trans community.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Live your life.
Well, they have the biggest dicks, so, what can we do?
You've measured.
Yeah. You've measured it, and it's true.
Okay, I'd love to see your research.
Would you?
I know you've got spreadsheets.
Well, in the bottom hand corner of my research, there's like Bart Simpson, fucking Marge Simpson, or whatever.
Right.
That's a callback to earlier.
That was a callback, yeah.
It was shit though. It was fine.
Well, I think it's part of it because you didn't feel like you liked it. You went, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's a good rule in comedy: never end a joke with or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it.
Shit like that.
Commit to the bit.
Yeah.
Commit to the bit. That's what we're learning today.
That's what we're learning today. So, in view of committing to the bit. And with your hatred for the trans established on the show,
well established,
with what you said, and
famous anti-trans comedian Ryan Tustin,
and Dan, let's commit to the bit with Ryan Tustin, comedian. This is a dark comedy podcast where we like to talk about some of the things that are horrible in life. So, is there anything that's simmering in your mind, like this has been a tough experience, something where something bad's happened, but actually I can see the comedy in it and I can use that, I can bring the out of it and I can joke and laugh about it now. Is there anything like that in your life?
I will say that I am relatively privileged. I do think I have a working class background, but I was protected from the worst of it a lot of times, and I think my parents were upwardly mobile. So just my life has been pretty chill. But I will say, and maybe this is a bit of a cop-out answer, but I am forever staring into the abyss with my 9 to 5, and just like the concept of work and knowing that the only thing I'm doing is existing to make billionaires slightly richer.
The horror of the next 30 years being ahead.
Yeah, or just end late stage capitalism, isn't it? Like that's really getting me down these days.
Is it, brother?
Yeah, comrade. But I'm trying to find the joke. In fact, I've been throwing my head against a brick wall to sort of write this bit about my work and stuff. I think everyone needs like a jobs, am I right kind of bit.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I just kept finishing the thing and going, I've not written any jokes here. I've just sort of like wrote a manifesto.
Right.
So I'm trying to find the funny in it. I'm trying to find something that's sort of relatable. But in terms of like real dark stuff, I will say not a whole lot of traumatic experiences on my part, and maybe that's why I don't go into that level. So I mean, and I know a little bit about you because I have watched or listened to a few of these podcasts. So you grew up in the foster care system?
I was fostered until I was about from about the age of 1.5 until about 5.5, 6. Adopted when I was 5.5, 6 years old. I'm with that adopted family from the age of about 6 to 17. So I don't have much in the way of memories of the foster families I was with or early childhood with like that kind of madness, but there are memories in there that are like, oh, that hopefully that'll be a bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting perspective. And I know a few people who have sort of been around that. I mean, I've heard sort of stories, and it can get pretty fucking wild and dark. I guess my question is, I've taken over now. Do you feel abandoned? Like, is there bitterness there?
No, just because I get so many comments from the trans, they're so,
They've taken you in.
Yeah, I just keep on sending up the fishing line with a little.
It's crazy how quickly you can bring things back to the trans.
Yeah,
community.
I just send out a fishing.
That was nothing to do with them, and you're like, no.
Send out a fishing line. Mention the trans. You're not abandoned. You've got so much, attention coming your way. So never feel abandoned in terms of that.
Well, I'm glad you have that in your life.
Yeah, it's fun. You'll get it too after this podcast.
Certainly, yeah.
When I tag you. But I don't really have that. I get what you mean. I've always been like on my own. So I don't really feel lonely. I'm just like cool and sound on my own. I don't get like the urge to go, I've got to go and like talk to someone for hours. So this podcasting is like a weird thing for me. It's the most I talk to anyone. I'm just like on my own a lot.
And it bothers you
having
to talk to people.
Well, it used to, but I've kind of like come to the point where now, if I don't want to talk to anyone anymore, I just mention the trans stuff a lot, and they get a bit uncomfortable. So
yeah, that's a good way of ending a conversation really quick. I mean, I wanted to leave 3 times already.
I can tell.
That's interesting. I will say this. I also spend a lot of time of my own. I think maybe it's inherent to comics, but I don't like it. I was in this weird. I think I'm a extrovert in the body of an introvert.
Right.
It's like I have this real desire to be around people and be sociable and like doing the chat stuff.
So you're trying to transition
away from being on my own all the time into having a social life. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why you have to say it that way, but the comedy has been a bit like that a lot. I've no intention to make this like my job, and the way this comedy podcast is going, good. But like just getting to meet a lot of people and be around people and being able to sort of go, oh, you're a bit like me, and I can sort of say some weird things. I will say though, I did have this sort of initial thought about hanging out with comics after their open mic. About you'd go and you'd smoke cigarettes and you'd wear your leather jackets and talking about comedy and stuff. And now, cut to a scene of like me surrounded by these nerds going, actually, I think Russell T Davies was much maligned as the director of Doctor Who. And I was like, fucking, who are these losers? And it's a problem now that I'm like, I feel too cool.
Yeah.
For the people I'm
sick of these
myself
fucking
with.
nerds.
Because I will say this, the poetry crowd does a lot to present themselves as a very cool people.
Oh, I bet they do.
They're very sort of, one very very woke as we've discussed, but also sort of very interesting, and it's a big part of their personality. And I've always felt like going, oh, I'm far too normal for this.
But also, isn't like part of the cool of that scene of like being able to name the most esoteric author that like has the most jarbled work that you've fucking read and understood?
A little bit,
yeah,
definitely a little bit. But that's ironically that's what I can do with comedy, because I'm much more clued up on comics and old
really?
bits of comedy than I am of like poetry. Oh. I'll probably say that because there's a lot more poetry historically that people go to, whereas like comedy. I mean, I've watched a lot of specials and stuff, and I know bits, and I can sort of and I always get to this point where like if something's a bit veering into, I'm like, oh, I can't do that because that's their thing. Or if I hear someone else sort of impose like a bit of like a thing, I'm like, oh, I make a point to be like, I think Mitch Hedberg did that.
Right.
So maybe I'm the wanker. I'm the poet of the comedy world.
Right. Okay.
In that no one likes me.
Right.
I hope that's not true. I think people like me. I think I've made a good splash.
Good splash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good splash. Good splash. Absolutely.
You're trying to turn that into a transphobic joke?
I was just thinking a good splash is when a trans person jumps in the pool and the dick hits like after the main body goes into the water, and then like half a second later there's like a big splash and then a small splash when the dick hits the water. Like that's the trans like
right. So
splash.
in your mind, the trans person has got rid of their penis, but it still follows them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because trans dicks are the biggest dicks.
Yes, because you've got spreadsheets.
Yeah. Glad we've established that.
Good way to kill the conversation.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? So, what law firm do you work for again?
No.
No.
Not getting that out of me.
No, definitely not now.
Not now at all. In fact, I might request that this entire podcast get deleted.
No, it's fine. What have you said that's wrong?
You've called me a noted transphobe.
Did I?
Twice, I think now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Are you sorry?
Yeah.
You sound sorry.
Yeah, to be honest, before today, I never knew you were a transphobe. So.
Me either.
No.
It's all come out. We're learning a lot about ourselves.
Yeah. But no, moral of the story is I don't feel abandoned.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's
That's good because I'm going to leave.
No, come on.
You can finish stuff like yourself.
No.
Put your little Japanese boyfriend TV on.
Oh, I am as well. I remember last season just shouting at this fella whose name I can't forget, but I'll call him Goku. Shouting at Goku.
Not racist at all.
No, it's not, because Goku's a good thing. So I'm shouting at Goku to like.
I do like that because I could only think of Japanese names from anime.
It's so bad, isn't it?
Sometimes I'll watch a show and it'll have a Japanese person with an anime name.
Yeah.
And I'll think like, that's not right. You can't do that.
It's like someone.
Not everyone can be Yasuke.
No, it's like someone being called SpongeBob.
Yasuke must be like John in Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the most common fucking boring name ever.
Yeah.
But to like a Westerner's ears, so cool.
Yeah.
And there's a U in it that doesn't get used. Oh, that's fantastic.
It's really great names, but also
Great names.
Terrible
TV.
Great names, they're the best names, but then also, back to the old Joe again, she calls the character Cho Chang. What's she supposed to call the character? Like,
Not that.
That's a very common name.
Anything but that. Well. So that's the point about that is it's Cho is Japanese.
Yeah.
But Chang is Chinese.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make much sense, and also, it is the most racist version.
Can't she have like a Japanese and Chinese parents? People are allowed to be mixed race.
Right, but I don't think she was like thinking about that. I don't think she was like.
I think it's a very deep and nuanced character if you think about it.
Okay. No, give me your defence. Because I will say this, right? My younger self reading the books, I fancied Cho Chang.
Really?
Yeah, so much.
Yeah.
I don't know why. She's not even like, as you think, she basically spends most of the book where she's in crying. I don't know what I found attractive about that. But once you go up, you go, oh, that's not, can't be liking those characters anymore.
Well, what's she supposed to be called?
Anything that's not Cho Chang. Like,
What would you call her instead? Yasuke. Make it trans, Yasuke.
I'd call them, I was going to think of just Japanese wrestlers now I know. Asuka.
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 I'll ask her. I'll ask her name.
Not even that. It's not even, that's just dumb. I know. I'll ask her. Like my dad.
That's like a Naked Gun joke. Like, it's like so old. Oh god.
I've never heard that. I've watched a lot of Naked Gun. I've never heard that joke specifically.
What's her name? Where's she from? I'll ask her. No, I'll ask her. Like that. I think
No,
it's so stupid.
that bit I get.
So stupid.
Do you find, as a comic, like...
I wouldn't call myself a comic. I'd call myself fucking stupid.
Do you find, as a wannabe funny man, that the dumbest shit sends you off?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Because I think as a comic, which is what I call myself, not a stand-up comedian, a comic.
Yeah.
There's two things that will really impress me.
Yeah.
One is when someone does like a really intricate, sort of like clever, really thought out piece.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is genius. In my head, I'm like, that is really works. Or if someone just makes like a fart joke. You know what I mean? Either way, I'm like on the floor.
And you know what even makes it better is when someone does like a stupid joke and tries to sell it as this is like the best thing ever. When you try and sell it off like that, I love that.
It's a really profound thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. But I think that's where your mind goes, and that's the problem too. Also, is I've realised that if you're trying to tell jokes to a bunch of comics, the easiest way of doing it is not to sort of like give your best, like, oh, there's a point to behind this. It's just to sort of be disgusting and crude, and they will love it, and that's terrible because I think people then learn to do that, and they'll go into like a mainstream audience. bomb, and we're like, why is this not working? Everyone loves it.
Or the other thing that comics do is laugh at the things that aren't funny, and then once you go up there and try it, and then you're trying something that no one thought was funny.
Yeah, well, we're also horrible people, aren't we? So we'll encourage really bad ideas.
Horrible, egotistical people.
Because I genuinely want you to do pass the pussy on the left-hand side.
Christ,
I genuinely think there's legs to that. I wouldn't do it, but I'd happily watch you up and fucking
you can
die
have
on your
that
arse
material
10
if
times.
you like.
No, I insist. I insist.
Oh, God. Pass the pussy on the left-hand side.
See, now you're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Especially if you can get that accent down, bro.
Yeah. I tried to do 2 accents the first time I ever did stand-up.
At the same time? No wonder. That's
the problem, isn't
esoteric.
it? Yeah, that's difficult.
Like Gregorian throat singing.
Yeah, that's like Dostoevsky-esque. You can't do that.
Dostoevsky-esque.
Yeah.
Dostoevsky-esque.
Yeah, bless you. And 2 different accents, and it was so rough. Partly because...
What were they?
Now, for diversity's sake, I'm going to say they were Scottish and Welsh.
Which means they were Pakistani and Indian.
I mean, kind of, yeah. But...
it's like Bangladeshi.
It was so rough.
Yeah.
Especially because I just wasn't funny.
Can we get a preview of it? Can we get a little taste?
Yeah, I mean, you've had a bit of a preview through this podcast, mate. But it's nothing better than that. Rough, very rough. And yeah, I didn't understand what comedy was. And if you don't understand, then you just learn it and you're trying to do these accents. It's like, you've made such a mistake there. You need to stay away from that and understand what comedy is first.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? I think that's and there's a lot of comedians on the open mic scene who don't know what a joke is.
Such as?
Lots of, I still mean to name. I'm one of them, to be honest. Sometimes I question, but I've done enough to be like, I know the structure of it. So when I know when something doesn't fail, I just go back to that. But I think a lot of people just sort of start saying things that are a bit quirky or weird, or have an attitude, or they'll have a go at the trans community. Not naming names.
No, me.
Audio podcast.
He nodded.
I nodded. Let the record show. And they were like, "Why is this not working?" And I think that's the point, right? I think dark material is great, but it's still got to be a joke.
Yeah.
When do you think? How long do you think you were doing it before you were like, "Oh, I've told a joke, like a joke that works. That's a structural, meets all the qualifications."
To be honest, it was actually the second time, and it's
Big
second time on stage, second time doing comedy, and so I'll tell it like in order. So the first time I did it, shitty little pub, 8 people in the audience, 10 people doing open mic comedy. There was a bit of an idea that got a bit of a giggle, and the rest of the 5 minutes was dead silence as I was doing stupid things that were not funny at all, and just like telling a story, but the story wasn't interesting or comedically worded. So I just didn't understand what comedy was, and I know it was getting into the headspace where I was thinking, this was awful, this was terrible. I had like a big comedian come over and try to hug me afterwards because it was that bad of a fucking performance.
Yeah, you never want that.
No, that's really bad.
If a comedian starts being nice to you, you know you fucked up.
Oh god, yeah, terrible. Started watching some stand up after the show, and also watching
for the first time. Let's see what they're doing. Oh, that's not what I was doing at all.
I was like, oh fucking! I thought this was. Is this not how you boil pasta? Fucking moron. But obviously as well, at the show, paying attention to what the other comedians were doing and what this very big and successful comedian is in the Liverpool and like the UK area is, I kind of thought, okay, the thing that I got a bit of a giggle at, I could try and work on that, try and change it, try and improve it, and try and pull that across to other things as well and do the same thing and build the 5 minutes on that. And the second time I did stand up was at Hot Water, where I got decent and consistent laughs through the set. Not everything worked, but that was like, oh my god, that's how you do it. This is how you get the reveal in. This is how you do the set. This is how this is that and that, and you pick more up as you go. But it was such a massive change from the first time to that you know, I've always tried to go to people with more experience and say, like, what do you think? What can I do to learn? What can I do to this and that? And people who are bigger usually will say either, you know, you've got to figure it out on your own, or the first time you were doing it, it was so bad, you've improved so much, you know, you just kind of got to figure it out on your own. It's a learning experience for everyone, because even the big acts who do it, like, who are big in the UK, will talk about on their podcasts or just like in backstage or green rooms or whatever. Tried that on new bit, didn't work, went on my ass, had a bad show, had a bad gig. That's what happens. It's not like you get big and then you get good and then you're consistently good forevermore. You have bad shows, bad gigs, jokes that don't work and you've got to throw away or rework. You know, everyone's learning all the time.
Yeah. I guess I was really hoping eventually that it just become really easy. But like, so for your one listener / you benefit, I had one gig last year, like a paid gig.
You did more than that.
I did one just open mics,
yeah,
and then I did one thing where I was on the poster.
You were on the poster and you got paid.
And I got paid £50.
You were a paid professional comedian.
As everyone told me, and it made me really cringe.
First time we've had that on the show, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I'm big time now.
How much did you get paid?
£50.
You'd say that again, but say a bigger number. How much did you get paid?
£500.
Jesus Christ, you are a professional, aren't you?
But I got it purely because my friend, and this is the thing, my friend said to me, who's booking the show,
yeah,
would you like to come on as a comic?
Yeah.
And I said yes, before I'd ever done stand-up. Well, no, I'd done one stand-up gig one time the year before, right, just to sort of like do it.
Nepotism in the comedy industry? What?
I know, crazy. But what it meant was, as soon as I said yes, I had like a whole 9 months to get that ready, which is why I started even turning up. And I already knew what I was going to talk about, like from the start, so it was so much easier. Now, coming away from that, trying to write things just to sort of write things and have material, I'm like, I forgot entirely what I was doing or like what worked. And you start questioning yourself as like, was I even that funny, like in the first place? Because I remember getting laughs, but I'm still so new to this that it's like it's a blur when I'm up there. And then you sort of write this stuff down and you're like, there's no jokes here. Like, I know what a joke is, and I know that I've done the steps I used to do to get to a joke, and I've come up with just a rant.
Yeah.
Just a fucking, like, anyone could do. And one of the pieces of, well, in feedback, I think it was a compliment, and I don't know if this person, like, realises how much it sort of meant to me. But they said, what I like about you is you don't sound like anyone else on the scene.
Like funny.
You do something different, yeah.
Well,
maybe that's what they meant. But I took that as being like quite wordy and erudite and sort of. So I've tried to like consciously lean into using bigger words and sort of making sure that things have like a sort of poetic sort of twang to them. But none of that works if it's not funny. You know what I mean? You're just a cunt.
Yeah.
And you know I can do that in my everyday life. So it's a real struggle, I think, to sort of feel like you know what you're doing.
Do you know what would be funny? Because we mentioned this and we're now gone down this road. Do you want to get out, if you've got it written down, the first ever set you've done and read it out on the pod? Like, perform it. And then pick out parts where you've gone, oh, I've done this better, or I've changed this and I've done it better, and here's like now what it is and how much better it is.
No, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to
Thank
do
you
that.
for bringing that up as like a bit of the podcast we could do. But and I'll tell you the reason why. One, I don't have the first thing I ever wrote. Two, bit that would become that is actually my 10 minutes. Right. And I don't want to burn it when I do it on the show. Pay me.
Burn it in front of 5 people.
I'll tell you the first joke I thought about writing that has never went well, and I got rid of it straight away. And I said, it is not a good joke. This is really nice. I talked about, my first joke is I'm glad to be performing in Liverpool because I live here. Like, it's a little titter, and then I say blah 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 blah, and then I say, but actually, I've come to love Liverpool as a place. I say Liverpool is the only place you can see a Stendu Sten do. A stag do. I've put the two together. A stag do, a protest, and a drugs bust all on the same bus route.
Yeah.
And I thought that would get a big thing. Crickets, absolute cricket. No, I tell you what, I got one guy went, ha! And so the only thing worse than no one laughing is one person laughing. But even worse than that is one person laughing one time. Because it suggests that he understood that it was a joke to be made and felt the need to get one solitary laugh to make me move on. And that was like, that crushed me. Luckily that wasn't at a comedy night. I did that as like a little thing in a poetry set I did. To really ingratiate myself with the Scouse audience.
That's also the best thing as well. When you do a joke, you do the silence, and then you're like, "Is this thing on?" And you don't want to say, "Is this thing on?"
Oh, I hate.
Because they heard it, they just didn't think it was funny, and you don't want to get.
Well, you don't want somebody to go, "Yes, it was on."
We heard you. It just wasn't funny.
I hate that. I honestly get so upset when comedians like tell a joke that doesn't land and then get annoyed at the crowd.
Is this thing on?
It's like, I am telling jokes, you know. It's like, we know. Are you willing to do it? Are you gonna?
I'm willing to do that. You know what? I might as well. This is gonna be awful. I'm gonna do it.
This is a good segment, I think, for future podcasts, though.
This is gonna be so bad. This is my first ever set that I did. I'm not gonna do all of it because the accents are fucking rough.
Sure, yeah.
But I'll tell you a bit of my set. Okay, so
just give me the opening line. I don't want to like the whole thing.
I recently turned 29.
Ooh.
What I've learned in 29 years of life is that most people on Grindr are straight. For those of you who don't know, Grindr is an app that shows you how close very horny gay men are to within a meter. Kind of like Justy for Cock. Thankfully though, you're usually not seeing people who have just climbed out of a dinghy and jumped on a pedal bike. I got messaged by a guy who wanted to meet up. I don't know how it is for you poor cunts who are trying to have sex with women. But on Grindr, it's a quick logistical problem that's sorted out like that. Well, more like that, but like a gay snap.
Again,
so,
that was an audio podcast. He did a gay snap.
So, snap, and then more like
your regular hetero snap.
Yeah.
Followed by a much gayer snap.
That's it. That's the comedy gold.
The punchline. It's physical comedy, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's physical comedy. It didn't get a laugh when I did it in physically. I want this, you want that, where, when. Bob's your uncle, but it's our little secret. Done. It makes sense. But he also asked me if I'm gay. It's like waiting in a queue at a music gig for two old manx and being asked, "Do you like Oasis?" My answer's the same to both. Just here to see a couple of pricks. I think that's enough of that for now.
I didn't want to laugh because I didn't want to do the audio.
Neither did the audience.
Yeah, they were so nice. That's a Tom McSherry joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
They were so nice. They didn't clap for a single thing. There were jokes in that, though. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. There was clearly identifiable things. And obviously I've seen you use bits of that for other things. I like that you started off dark. I like that was your first everything you wrote was you had to include men on dinghies.
Yeah.
Topical.
But yeah, awful. And then getting into the habit of analysing how jokes work, what it is, what kind of rules there are, and then I've developed one of those ideas that got a bit of a giggle when it did the first show. Grinders like Justy for Cock, and then go, okay, how else is it like it? What kind of similarities we can do? And now I've turned it into like a regular bit of do, which is just basically grind. It's kind of like Justy for Cock. I end up like using the apps the same way as well, just scrolling through. That's too spicy for me. Can't have that, my arse will fall out. And if you order Five Guys, your wallet's getting battered. Used to be firm and tight, now it's stretched out like a goth's earlobe.
And I can tell you that this kills.
This
stage.
Absolutely does. The silence in the podcast is not doing it justice. The silence on stage is so much better.
Yeah, you need to be there.
You had to be there.
You had to be there for the silence.
You had to be there. But that's my fire material now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's good. No, because I think what that taught me about you is that you have sort of kept. You knew who you were straight away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and that's interesting.
The character was always there.
Because I think, because I think it's just you. But I struggle to think about like sort of how I want to be presented. Like I think in my head, like oh,
again,
am I
because
this...
you're transitioning. How do you want to present?
Well, yeah, I want to sort of like... I think about myself as like a leather coat, cigarette on stage kind of comedian.
Oh, you're definitely not that.
I know. So...
Andrew Dice Gay.
And I really don't want to be... hickory dickory dock. And I really don't want to be sort of full suit and tie, Michael McIntyre skipping across the stage comedian.
No.
But I don't know any other type of comedian. You know what I mean? Like those are my sort of polar opposites. So I guess somewhere in the middle. But at this stage, I just want people to fucking laugh. I don't care if it sort of sounds like me or not.
Please laugh.
Please fucking laugh. Because it is the greatest feeling in the world. But it's so close to the opposite feeling.
Yeah.
Which is that I'm not funny and I'm going to die alone.
And the ego death when you have a bad set. And then, like, maybe the compere comes on and does a joke about you having a bad set and you're just, like, crushed, splintered into 1,000 pieces. You just back down in your box.
Yeah, to be fair, I've never yet, and again, I'm still quite new to this, but I've never died on stage.
I don't know, you weren't there the other week, but at a gig run by someone who we won't say who they are, but...
You can work it out, I'm sure.
If you've ever seen a drunk and or homeless man shouting in a job centre, this is what the compare is basically like. And at one of his gigs, a 19-year-old little fruity fella shouted up at someone who's been on the podcast before, boring, right in the middle of a set. There was like 4 people in the audience.
I have been told about this.
He was a foot away from the guy doing the set and just shouted boring. And I don't know how I would have handled that. I probably would have crumbled because I'm not funny in the moment. I'm trying to do that more. I'm trying to get good at reacting to things, but I'm not. The guy kind of finished his set, and then afterwards, the rest of the comedians just went up and just fucking hounded this guy who said boring.
Well, that's nice. I'm glad they sort of stood up for who will not be named at the time.
I called the audience member a faggot and threatened sexual violence upon him.
Right.
Which I quite was proud of myself.
A measured response.
Yeah, I was quite proud of myself.
I've never been heckled yet either. Well, I say that. One time I got up and before I said anything, a young girl at the back shouted, "Bitch!" Which I don't think was at me. But it took me off my pacing.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done anything. So, it wasn't like... I knew at the point it wasn't like...
Had you been a bitch?
Well, I maybe walked to the stage in a bitchy way. I don't know. But I moved on. It was quick enough that it wasn't around me. But I knew in that moment, I was like I didn't... If I don't... I could die here.
Yeah.
And it could complete around my set. And I'm still not ready for it. I don't know if you've done this, but I've written... or at least thought of pre-heckle.
So that is actually the secret. That is what the big comedians are doing, and you know they're doing it because they do the same ones at the same heckles or the same kind of responses when people like saying, "This is my job," and you see like the clips where they do done the same thing, where they've got like different hairstyles. It's a different day. It's a different person they're speaking to, but they've got that bit sewn up because they've thought about it. They're doing the crowd work like they're doing material. And that's a weird thing to think about, but also, you know, if you've got this one thing that's weird that comes up, they mention it, you try and interact with it, try to find it funny, and then think about it afterwards and use it like material. Okay, he's mentioned this, how can I connect this with that? How can I make this funny? And then if something else has happened in the room, just connect those two things together. I remember at this show I did on Thursday, like a gong show, something happened in the room and immediately I'm watching the show and thinking, how can I make that connect to the material? How can I do that? I have an opening bit where I'm talking about dogs. I just say, I look like a triple XL bully because I'm quite you can't tell from the podcast, but I'm a chunky fella. We've mentioned this before. So I look like a triple XL bully. Plus size model. And someone in the audience mentioned you've got a company that does like CBD for dogs. So immediately connection there, just mention it and just go, I did something along the lines of, I don't even know how I got this fast, I think I picked up my dog's CBD by mistake. And just immediately, it's not that funny, but it connects to something that was been said, and then it feels fresh, it feels organic, and the audience loves it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing I've noticed a lot, just in watching comedy, is that your written material could be really good, But if you do something that an audience knows for certain is off the cuff, they love it.
Yeah.
Because they think it's like, even if it's dumb, even if it's not like particularly clever, there's a sort of like appreciation for like on the spot spontaneity, which is terrible for me because I am sort of like you. I write all my stuff longhand and I perform it in the way I've written it down. I don't really give myself a lot of space to bounce off of things. But I will say, the one time I did do it, I was pretty proud of myself. It was same time as I got called a bitch.
Yeah.
It was on bonfire night, and it was a common night for bonfire night. And I was right at the end, and I says, "I'm so genuinely impressed. So many of you have stayed this long. You lot must fucking hate fireworks." And it wasn't that good by your reaction. Yeah. But at the time, I think it instantly brought everyone in for me, and it made me sort of like feel so much more comfortable in the set straight away. And it's those little tiny bits of magic and stuff that you can sort of like, you can't practice for those bits, and yeah, they'll always. I remember as well, like, on the night that I did my professional gig, the compare just did someone was a GP receptionist, and they had a bit of audience interaction, and he just said, "Well, it's just nice to hear back from you."
Yeah.
And he was not impressed with that, but that got the applause. It was the only thing that got the applause break of the night because everyone sort of went with it, and I was so impressed.
It's when it's quick. People just when it's quick, when it's off the top, when it's crowd interaction. That's the stuff that's really popular these days.
Yeah, and you can't bottle it. And I think a lot of the audience interaction stuff, we can blame Paul Smith for that. Especially Liverpool, he's definitely turned it into like, this is a two-way conversation. Yeah. Which I fucking despise.
Yeah, it's not. It's rhetorical.
No, it's
like Simon Wozniak says.
This is all about me.
Yeah.
You need to shut up and listen. I'm the one with the microphone. I've sort of lost my track, but I will say this, and maybe I can end on this story about heckling. On the day of my professional gig, it's a big day for me. I also met up with the Scouse side of my family.
Yeah.
I've never met before in my life.
Full shell suits.
Just calm down, all that stuff. Including this really old lady who was my mum's dad's sister. And I didn't know this person.
Immediately I was back on the chance like, Mum's dad? I was like, what?
My mum's dad's sister, my auntie, who met her for the first time, old lady, right? Super nice. She was really, but I could already tell when I'd sort of met her before and she was a bit sloshed. I was like, okay. And she was super nice. I finished my set and I go and sit down for the rest of the show. The headliner comes on and starts doing this bit. Unknown to me, this old lady in the back has been plied with rosé and she's just fucked. And he says a little bit about himself, and then 5 minutes later, while he's moved on to a different subject, she just starts splurting out what he said initially. Yeah. And I knew it was her. I don't know this person at all. But this lad, Adam Staunton was the headliner. Very funny comedian, I've seen him a bunch of times. And it's a joke about how he's short. He starts ripping into this old woman who has no idea she's being spoken to because she's so pissed.
Right.
But I'm sort of just in there, sort of like cringing, and I'm like, and he's getting more and more aggressive because I think like it's getting laughs and stuff. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I don't know this woman, but at what point do I have to stand up and beat up Adam Staunton on his headline? Turns out I didn't. He moved on fairly quickly. But I'm realising there's no end to that story.
No, that's what comedy is. It's just like ideas. It's throwing things out. It's why we're not going to be professional.
No, I guess the point of that is sometimes like heckling isn't like people being mean.
No.
Sometimes heckling is just a person who's maybe forgot where they are.
Yeah.
And handling that. But I think back to like if that happened to me, like the whole thing I was like if people are just like bored and pissed as they often get at comedy shows, and someone just does a thing, I'm going to crumble. And I'm going to sort of turn into this little like 10-year-old boy myself being like...
My fear has always been the opposite, that someone's going to say something and I'm going to get myself banned from the gig, say something horrible, and maybe start a riot.
A whole riot?
I might do, yeah.
I mean, I would call that a successful gig.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
based on the reception I've seen thus far, I think if you can motivate people to stop burning shit down, I'd count it as a win.
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to like call the wrong man's wife a slag enough for things to kick off, you know?
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, you can stop bullying audience members.
Yeah, well, I mean, if, like, the other day there was some woman drunk at the back fucking talking and giggling through the show, and I would already been on, but if I was going to go on, I was probably going to call her out and say, can the fucking, someone please call Bootle and tell them to get the fucking slags back. I'm fucking sick of these fucking bickering, nattering fucking wenches, fucking fuck them off. I was fucking sick of them.
Yeah, actually, another good rule for comedy,
Yeah.
at least in Liverpool, if someone is annoying, just call them a wool.
Yeah, call them all.
Because that's the worst thing anyone can be called, especially if they're not.
Yeah.
They will lose their shit.
Yeah. It's fantastic, isn't it?
I think we can end there. Unless you have a specific thing you want to ask me.
Are you sure there's no better name than Cho Chang?
Having considered it, no. Actually, it's perfect.
That's a podcast. This has been Mr. Winter Show with Ryan. Thank you very much. This has been fantastic. And it's all staying in.